The Source.
Top of the morning to you, neighbor.
Hello, boys. Have a good night's rest. I missed you.
1575.
Oh, it's one of my favorite parts of the month. Here at The Source 1575, 8:05 on the clock. I got a few guests in here with me. Chance, it's not the morning breakdown, though. It's actually Commander's Open Line. And, well, because of that, I guess we got some intros in order. Let's start to my left.
Morning,
Colonel Mike
Chance.
Roston. Good morning, sir. How have you been?
I've been great.
You know, I've been back for a couple of these, sir, and we've had someone else sitting in your chair.
Yeah, I've been on the road a lot these last couple months. It's been a little frustrating, so it's great to be back. I think I'm back here for at least hopefully be here for all the month of February. A little TDY in March, but it's good to be back in MyCAA.
Yes, sir. Definitely glad to have you back here on Commander's Open Line. Someone who I haven't worked with on Open Line before, Colonel Mike Griffin. I got that right, didn't I, sir?
You got that 100% correct.
Okay, perfect. Because this morning, you know, I haven't worked with you yet, so I'm running around making sure with everyone that I got that name correct. He's actually
Mike Griffin, is that a tough name?
Oh, well,
Mike
sir,
Griffin.
But Chief, but the thing is, I don't want to mess up because I'm going to mess your
It's like
ceremony
Chance
up tonight.
Smith. You know, I mean, that's like, you know.
You
Well,
have
I mean,
a chance
that's-
of getting it right, don't
That's
you?
Yeah,
unique.
right.
There you go. He's actually your 35th Mission Support Group Commander. See, that's tough
He is.
too, Chief.
Yeah.
That's tough too. And Chief Master Sergeant Russ Hastings, you've heard his voice. Your 35th Fighter Wing Command Chief. Won't be hearing his voice too much more. At least not on this program.
Yeah, not here. Maybe somewhere else in the world, but not around here. Yeah.
Colonel Griffin, is that a good thing or a bad thing that we're not going to be hearing his voice anymore?
You know, it's a good thing for the society that the Chief is going to be downtown with the retiree community. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
It's like
a
I'm
bad
being
thing for the Air
released.
Force. No.
Released back into the wild.
See how he set that one up?
It's
Yeah.
always a good thing.
Oh, well, you know, like I said, this is one of my favorite times of the month here. We get to have a lot of fun on this program. And you, our listening audience, it's a great opportunity for you to speak directly with your 35th Fighter Wing leadership. And I'm going to tell you just how you can do that. Obviously, you can call us. You've got 226-1575, source line wide open this morning. And if that gets too busy, we got another number to throw out for you, 226-3621. That line will be available as well. You can go to Facebook. You can search AFN MyCAA when you get there. If you're not tech savvy, parents, have your kids show you what to do. They'll make it happen for you. You can leave that comment there. And then, last but not least, you can also email any questions or comments you might have to 35fw.pa@mycaaa.af.mil. That's a lot to remember, so why don't you just give us a
Calling's better. Yeah, we like call-ins.
Calling is
Call-ins get priority.
definitely, and see,
right.
there you go. That's your 35th Fighter Wing commander telling you to call in. So I better see this phone line light up here pretty quick. Colonel Roston, you got anything you'd like to kick off our program this morning with?
Well, you know, there's a bunch of stuff going on, of course, as there always is. One of the big things on my mind, especially this last week, and I've been talking about with our security forces, is just the road conditions and stuff. You know, and I think it has been colder than normal at MyCAA,
Yep.
and especially this last week where we got snow. We got a bunch of snow the week before that my wife got to shovel for instead of me, which I still hear about every day, I might add. And although I did shovel this morning. You know, and then of course it melted a little bit, then it got really froze. So the snow that's on the road, that stuff is hard packed, it's iced, it's slicker than whale snot, as they say, and just be careful. So we've seen a really big spike in, you know, fender benders, slips, trips, and falls.
Yep.
So both our medics and our cops have been pretty busy. So I'd ask everyone to be careful, and I don't think it's going to get any better. We're expecting some more snow today and tomorrow and stuff. So.
Colonel Griffin, from the MSG point of view, when it comes to housing areas, why is that so important for folks to be out there shoveling those sidewalks?
Mainly for school. You got school kids walking to school. You got things going around the neighborhood to keep them clean, and people jogging, people walking. You still got the community environment, so the safety of and keeping the sidewalks clear is a good thing for all of us.
And the you know, one of the things too with all the driving stuff is we've got Slippery Weasel going again, which is a pretty good winter driving course. You know, practical application too, so you get to you know, see what your vehicle handles like in those slippery conditions. I think that's going every other Friday,
Right.
20
That's
January.
a
So it's
great
not today;
course.
it's next Friday and every other Friday through March.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like room for 12 folks per class on that. And if you haven't done that, I encourage you to. It's neat to be able to get out there and have someone A, teach you, and B, also, you know, get a little practical application.
Definitely. You know, I've heard nothing but great things about that course. Actually, though, I was misinformed, see, because I thought it was like a grease pig thing. They said it was a slippery weasel, so I thought we were all
No,
going to line
no.
up and chase this thing.
No.
It didn't wind up like that.
No.
But it was great. You know, my wife really wants to get signed up for this thing. You know, it's big for her coming from Houston, Texas, so she didn't really know how to drive on the snow and the ice. So she's definitely going to get
Just
signed up.
Safety office, by the way, is how you sign up. Call Wing Safety. 226-2702.
Oh, off the top of the head. That's
He's
clutch.
good.
That's awesome.
No, I glanced down. I cheated. I can't.
That is close. Hey, Chief Hastings, talking about winter driving safety. I know you and I already did this. You called me up last week. We talked a little bit about this. You got anything you want to just throw?
I would just say I think what we're seeing is we had a mild winter last year, so in reality, the folks that have gotten here from 2010 or later haven't really experienced a harsh MyCAA winter, and we're just seeing a tough winter. And so, I remember last week it looked like it was a nice morning. It was actually right around freezing, and it was drizzling rain, and it was probably the worst conditions I'd ever seen here. But if you looked at the road, you couldn't tell. It wasn't snow; it was black ice. And so I got out of my car at the gym in a clear parking lot, and really I could have skated all the way to the front door because there was a thin layer of ice on everything. So I just think these are different, harder conditions than last year. So I think I think the Slippery Weasel is an excellent opportunity for those like you and I that are from Southern Texas to get out there and get some experience in driving in the winter.
Yeah, and real quick, perfect opportunity to throw this out. There is a heavy snow warning in effect, 4 inches projected between now and 12:42. Keep that in mind if you're going to be out on the roads today. Maybe
12:42.
12. And that's the most
Really?
arbitrary
I would have
number,
said
isn't it?
12:45, 12:30.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. But you know what?
I'm watching.
The
12:42.
35th OSS Weather Flight knows all. Okay,
awesome.
They are my leader, and I follow them in here when it comes to weather. But a lot of folks, they tend to complain about the MyCAA winters, and they tend to overlook some of the great things that we have. My producer's here. He's telling me he wants to talk about some community activities. We'll wait a minute before we talk about this retirement ceremony that's going to go down later today. I hear somebody important hanging it up once and for all. But we've got the Super Bowl coming up. Colonel Rothstein, do you have any vested interest in this?
No, not nothing real hard. I'd probably go for the Pats just on a.
All right.
Got to go for somebody,
Yeah.
but my Dolphins. I got nothing to.
Oh, I'm a Dolphins
yeah.
fan too. I'm still hoping they're coming back.
Right.
but
Maybe
Dolphins?
new coach.
I'm a
and all
Dolphins
that
fan.
stuff.
Really?
Yes.
Quick break in from sports fans. Dolphins actually interviewing offensive coordinator Mike Sherman. That's who they're interviewing for the position. He's a good offensive mind. Just came from Texas A&M. I think you guys are going to be set. You got a good core there. But
But on Monday, Dolphins. No, let's face it. Colonel Griffin and I are probably the only two people in LaSalle who care about the Dolphins. But on the 6th, Super Bowl, we've got a lot of stuff going on for that. I think there is a party at the club, if I remember correctly.
There is.
Going on. I know the bowling center is offering some specials so you can bowl and eat. And, if you haven't been to the bowling center since we reopened it, they got a bunch of TVs and stuff up there. It's pretty sweet. And then as far as policy goes, essentially what I've done is I've put it in the unit commander's hands to try to go min-manning as much as possible. We're not flying that day, so we took that as a no-fly day to try and give ops and maintenance and the mission support group and the medics and all the folks who support the flying operation, a chance to make some decisions about that. And so it's in the unit commander's hands to do min-manning. Obviously, there are some missions that still need to get done, and I'll leave that up to them. But hopefully give folks a chance to watch the Super Bowl, and then just obviously be responsible about it. If you're reporting late for work or something that day, don't show up to work all liquored up. We know better than that. And that's one of the good things going on. So.
And then, we take a look at that calendar once again in February, moving a little on down the road. February 10th, we've got the annual awards banquet coming up. I've been in contact with Lieutenant Banser. He's part of the committee for this fundraising committee. It's going to be an awesome event. Tickets still available for that. Colonel Griffin, why is it so important for folks to get out and support these guys and gals who are going to be honored at this annual awards banquet?
I really believe in the awards ceremonies. I mean, the awards as a whole, because it recognizes the folks who have succeeded during the year, but it also allows the supervisors to recognize those folks, and it allows the family members to see them being recognized. And it's a good competition. I looked at some of the packages, and they were close.
They were.
They were very, very close. We have some people and some airmen, civilians, officers working some very hard things, some very hard tasks, a lot of deployments, and it's been active, and you're going to see a lot of recognition, including some spouses recognized also. So please come out and enjoy.
Spouse is the unsung hero of our military. That,
That's
according
right.
to
That's
Chief
right.
Master Sergeant Russ Hastings. If you haven't read his commentary yet, 30 Thoughts compiled over 30 years, it's still up on the MyCAA webpage. Go ahead and check that out. And he didn't just write that arbitrarily just to put that out. He's actually concluding.
No, it was pretty arbitrary. Yes.
Was it? Was it? No. It was great. Enjoyed reading that. Chief Hastings.
I heard it's going viral.
Viral.
That's the word on the street. That's gone viral across the.
Wow.
Across, maybe not across like the internet, but maybe the Air Force.
I've gotten
Hopefully not
some-
viral as in like making people sick. Because
No,
I
I've
really
gotten some
enjoy it.
comments from all over the Air Force, pretty positive about it. So I haven't received. Haven't received any.
No
negative
death threats,
comments.
right?
No death threats.
Well,
I
you-
thought Ammo might get mad, but Ammo's
Ammo's always
pretty
got a
good
good sense of humor,
about
they-
laughing, and
Yeah.
Well,
I kind of gave him some compliments anyway. So 'cause
Colonel
I knew
Rothstein,
better.
I figure since Chief Hastings is tooting his own horn right now anyways, we'll let him talk about his retirement ceremony coming up today. Chief Hastings, I can catch you right when you're drinking that coffee.
Yeah, thanks.
Retirement ceremony today.
Yeah.
Can we just have as many people as we can come out to this thing?
You bet. Sure.
Okay, see,
Do you
yeah,
want a longer
I was,
answer than
I
that?
was hoping for him to say something a little longer on
Want me to
that.
embellish?
Colonel Rothstein, why do you want folks to come on out and wish Chief Hastings a farewell?
Well, a couple reasons. Number one, 30 years of service. And service is the right word because, having worked with him for the last year and a half and having spent many hours poring over his records trying to prepare for my remarks today, and they're long records, by the way. They go back a long, long time.
Before computers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, now there's like mimeograph. His first EPRs are on
It's
like
the
dirty
thickest
purples.
UIF I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They had to find one of those. They had to find a floppy disk reader for a lot of this stuff. It was tough.
Oh no, we're
Way past that. Yeah.
we're
Typewriter.
before floppies.
Yep.
But it's a great time to take times out of our day to recognize the service of a great airman, and that's the best reason to come out. And then the second reason to come out is the importance of our military heritage, and we make retirement ceremonies a little special. We take time to do it right. And it is different to be in the military than it is to work for IBM or, if you work for Joe's Garage and you do 30 years there, you're going to get a whatever nickel-plated wrench and they're going to throw it at you and say, don't let the door hit you on the butt on the way out. But in our military heritage, the retirement ceremony is a special thing. So
It's
you
definitely going
got
to be an
time?
awesome event.
And what time's that at again, Chief?
13:30 is the ceremony, and then we'll have a dinner tonight at 18:30. Now, if you don't want to pay for the dinner or anything, you can come by the club like 19:30, 2000 or something, and we will be playing music and doing all that
Probably
stuff.
gonna be a little. If you think that's only gonna last an hour, you probably want to come by the club around 21:30 or something like that to catch
the boss
the
says
music.
21:30 because there's some people that said that, can I come later just for the the karaoke and everything, and so I'd invite everybody to come on out. I have no idea what's going to happen tonight. I have a little bit of an idea about the ceremony. Tonight I'm really in the dark, which is fine. It's a little scary, but whatever happens will happen.
I'll tell you what, Chief. Go ahead and I'll just give you.
No, I know you know
a
what's
heads
gonna
up.
happen, so.
There's going to be a lot of jokes told, most of them at Chief Hastings' expense. If they're funny, I wrote them. If not, Jimmy the Airman wrote all these things. 8:17 on the clock. Hey, look, folks, the phone line's open. 226-1575. We'd love to hear from you this morning. Go ahead and give us a call now. I'm not going to give you the other phone number until you start calling that first one. 226-1575. Also, you can go to Facebook. Facebook.com. Search AFN Massawa. Leave your question.
We did have an email.
Do you have one?
We had a couple ones come in, right?
We do have an email, and we're going to go ahead and hand that paper over to Colonel Rothstein. Colonel Rothstein, you've got it there. I believe this is the
Because
one.
I'm more interested in what people want to write in and ask us about.
Sure.
We can make plugs and talk
Right.
about Chief's retirement, all day long.
This
but-
is from Mary Gresco, Colonel, and it says, with MyCAA being limited, people are paying out of pocket for school. The schools on base are very expensive compared to community college back in the States. Many of these schools offer online programs, but need a few tests proctored each semester. I've had problems finding proctors on base, and I've heard this service is being cut. What can be done to help people continue their education without being forced to use the expensive colleges on base, specifically proctor services for non-active duty and non-Air Force?
Okay. Good question. Let me just a little quick background on MyCAA is a DoD financial assistance program. It used to pay, I think, up to $6,000, I guess, a year overall for the program. That's been reduced to $4,000, so that's sort of the talk about reductions in there. And you get at that through Military One Source is how you apply. And it's targeted at the E1 to E5 and O1 to O2 ranks. So our young airmen, our young officers,
Right.
our young enlisted force, I should say, and our young officers. And so, big picture, that's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
Free money,
Sure.
to further your education. So that's a good thing. Reductions are, frankly, part of the fiscal reality we're living in.
Yep.
Okay, and so we're going to see that, and we're also seeing proctor services being reduced by the Air Force a little bit as part of the fiscal reality as we're tightening up the belt. We've got $450 billion of cuts over the next 10 years in the defense budget we're looking at. And of course, we're also looking at the threat of another $550 to $600 billion if this thing called sequestration kicks in. And on a side note, by the way, just today, Secretary Panetta, the Department of Secretary of Defense, is starting to open the circus tent, if you will, on the fiscal year 13 budget. And so we're starting to see kind of what some of those impacts are. I glanced at an article this morning that talked about Air Force take being, I think we're going to close 6 tactical squadrons. Didn't get into which that is and all that, and just to quell rumors, no one has mentioned the word MyCAA to me in terms of closing and all that sort of stuff.
No,
so
we're
I don't
in the
know.
Pacific. I think the Pacific is
Right. Not sure where we're going to be doing that in there. Okay, but I digress a little bit. So as far as MyCAA and Proctor's on base for this email question, I know the FSS, we got this question. They're taking a look at what can be done on that. I think it is going to be a little bit of a limited service. And then as you were talking about, Mike, the 9/11 GI Bill is still a great thing.
Still a valuable tool out there. Plus, you get housing allowance for the dependents also if you transfer those over.
Yeah, and so on that, you can the GI Bill you can push to yourself, you can push it to your spouse, to your kids,
Right.
And that is a pretty good thing. So, for Mary Gresko writing this in, we're going to take a look, see what can be done. I'm not real optimistic that we can, we've got some budget constraints we got to live in. That means how many proctors we have available to help folks out in the community, but we'll try to do the best we can.
One more quick plug on Commander's Open Line before we get you over to some source tunage. If finances might be something that you're worried about right now, I know Colonel Griffin knows a little bit about this because it's going to be going on, brought to you by the Airmen and Family Readiness Center, a financial education forum. That's going to be next Tuesday, January 31st. It'll be over at the Richard Bong Training Facility. Colonel Griffin, can people just show up or do they need to call in and sign up?
They can just show up. The base theater's open. The more the better, so please stop by.
And they're bringing in fact, thanks to the Navy, because I think the Navy's
Navy
paying
did.
for this.
Right.
They're bringing in, some supposed kind of, heavy hitters who do this thing for a living. So it's not like,
Right.
we're getting me or Chief Hastings up to talk to you about finance. We're getting people who understand it. So I encourage everyone to make time for that if you can, because it's probably a pretty good thing, especially our young airmen who don't have a lot of experience doing this thing.
As mentioned, these gentlemen won't be speaking next Tuesday, but they will be speaking here for the next 38 minutes on Commander's Open Line. 822, 24 source degrees out there. Colonel Mike Rothstein, Colonel Mike Griffin, Chief Master Sergeant Russ Hastings hanging with me, Chance. We're talking all the issues that you want to talk. We got somebody on the line, but we're going to go to Wiz Khalifa and company right now. No sleep on Massawa Source 1575.